Tiny Tarot, hey, what have you got to say today? I am Low-Key Magical with a K, and I am here with Podmaster Earl. Earl, how are you today?
Hello, I'm fine today.
God, well, listen to that bass in that voice. Love that. You got to balance it out. You got the high voice, you got the low voice. We are so happy to be with you here today. Episode 7, lucky number 7. Making the low-key magical and the tiny tarot roll. Every day I am getting reads onto Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. It's going really well. Thanks to the audience, that's you. So if you would please like, share, subscribe. We appreciate it. It helps our podcast and my whole low-key magical and tiny tarot gig grow. And that's what we want. What we are intending, and I'm saying we because I'm speaking for Tiny Tarot as well, is to continue to get lessons out that help you build your life every day in the things that you have to do as a regular person. And I'm not coming to you saying, I am enlightened and I figured everything out and I'm going to tell you how to do it. No. I am shoulder to shoulder with you saying, this is some things that I figured out. Here's some knowledge that Tiny Tarot has given to me. And it's always consistent and it's never gossipy. I don't like to do, I can, but I don't like to do the, is he cheating on me or is she talking about me or whose kids are these? Well, yes, I can get that from Tiny Tarot too. But what we're working on with the Tiny Tarot podcast and the cumulative consciousness, the aggregate consciousness that we are working with, those that are tuning in, is that we are looking at how to make our lives better on a day-to-day basis, how to use these powers that seem to be coming online. If we feel that the vibration of the planet is raising and that we are here to help foster that, we are exploring this new consciousness realm. Let's call it that. We are exploring this new consciousness realm where it's trailblazing. Let's be honest, it's trailblazing. But I'm tuning into some cumulative knowledge that feels like consciousness that has done this before, that's willing to share lessons if your questions are honed correctly and if you are at the vibration of receiving an answer. Oh, that's the biggest part of this. Are you in a vibration of receiving an answer? Fantastic. Then welcome. This is the Tiny Tarot podcast. You've come to the right place. Now, that's all sunshine. What did we call it last week? Roses and raspberries. That's all roses and raspberries.
That's all.
Which is a new thing. Yeah, I'm going to have a t-shirt made for the low-key magical crowd.
Roses
that it's gonna
and
say,
raspberries.
Ain't all roses and raspberries.
Can it look like a Grateful Dead thing with lots of roses?
Absolutely. It has to be skulls.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're going to work on that. There'll be some product that you guys can get later. Ain't all roses and raspberries. Low-key magical.
Hold my beer.
But today, this sounds like it's going to go bow, bow. But Tiny Tarot has suggested we talk about the shadow. And what is the shadow? What is shadow work? Why should I do it? Excuse my coughing. I always get a little when I'm channeling, it feels like the throat chakra should be cleared. Let's take a moment, clear the throat chakra. Thank you. As we move forward, what is the shadow? Is this just a new keyword or a fad thing that I'm hearing in the spiritual world? Is it necessary? Is it another process that I have to go through to clear one more thing? Low-key magical? No, it's not like that. That's why we have these discussions. Let's clear these things up. If you're someone that, I'm reading 3 self-help books a week and I'm still working on clearing things, what are you doing? Are you even retaining anything from those books? We don't keep a scorecard, once we've ascended or whatever it is we do next. I don't think there's going to be someone going, okay, how many self-help books did you read? How many chakra cleansings did you do? How many quartz crystals did you buy? I hope that's not the case because my scorecard's going to it's not going to be that great. It's going to be kind of weird in spots. But right now, we're looking at the real thing. What's going to help me live my life better? If the planet is becoming a little bit different, and if we are exploring as conscious beings, then Tiny Tarot explained to me, what is the shadow? Let's talk about that. And so I went deep into meditation, and one of the first things that I got was, let's define shadow. What is that exactly? When you are standing in the sunshine and the sunshine is beaming on you and you turn around and look down, there is an outline of you that is not receiving light. That is what it is. It is a shape, your shape. and it is in the shadow. It is not receiving light. And I said, okay. So if we look at that as a metaphor, what are those parts of you that you are not allowing to see the light? Okay, does that mean I have to air out all my dirty laundry? No, that's not what that means at all. That means that during parts of your life, and if we look at your life as a movie, it's going to be a series of frames, a lot of frames. And there's going to be parts as you look back on your life where you go, whew, didn't like that part. I did not like who I was here because I was weak during this period of time. I was really new at what I was doing. I felt like a fool. I made a mistake here. I lost something. I was heavy. I was sad. I was broke, whatever it was. And you look at that part and you go, well, we're just going to edit that out. No, I don't even want to admit that this was ever there. So I'm going to edit that out and I'm going to put it over here in this closet. Basically, it is never going to see light. And we do that through a lot of different parts. And for some people, we feel like we're in it right now. Right now, I am in a place where I know when I get where I want to be, I'm going to edit this part out. I'm going to put it right in the closet so that nobody ever knows that that was there. But on an energetic level, when you are trying to come across to someone as your true, authentic self, and 40% of your experience is locked away in a closet that you refuse to even admit that there's knowledge to gain from, then the person who's talking to you is really only receiving about 60% of you. Now, it's not that they need to know that you need to go, hey, by the way, I know this is a job interview, but I'm going to open up my closet for a minute and let you know some really dark things about myself so that you can know that I'm being authentic. That's not it at all. We're talking about those personal moments where it's like closing the apps that are running in the background. Understanding, yes, there are parts of my story that I really wish were not there. But if I don't at some point say, those are also me, those are also valuable. Lessons were learned in every case. My worst self is an important step to my best self. Then we're not coming at it as a whole person. We've got power and energy going to apps that are running in the background that are sucking a lot away from us. We have 60 or 40%, whatever percent, locked away in a closet that we refuse to even access in the most positive way that we possibly could. And that's where I come to shadow work, okay? That's where I come to it. It's not, I got to dig out every single little thing that I didn't like. It's more, I'm going to go deep into meditation and I'm going to see myself pulling back the curtain to where I have not allowed light. And I'm just going to have a conversation with that and say, I realize you're there. And I realize I've disrespected the hard work that went into all of this. Really, it's like you shot this beautiful movie and then took a huge percentage of it out and said, I just hate that. And then come back to say, all of this was beautiful. All of this was of value. There's a director's cut that you are really missing out on if you could just harness all of this and say, it's okay. You know what? I didn't like any of you. I didn't respect you in the moment. I'm not sure what that was about. But I tell you what, I'm going to visualize myself just scooping it all back in and saying, let's just put you back where you belong. And now when I speak, now when I want to impart knowledge, now when I have a decision to make, I'm coming at it with everything, not just the parts that I have deemed worthy. Ooh. I have edited out so much of myself that I did not deem worthy that I am now, and now it's running back there. It's requiring energy. It has to be maintained, and it's not allowing me to really come to whatever I want to be fully present with. My relationship, my job, my kids, my projects. I can't come to them as my 100% full self until I say, wow, it all counts. It's all deserving. Those aren't blocks. Those are the things that propel me forward. Like, holy crap, what have I been doing all this time? thinking that I was less in those moments. If I think that I have been less in any moment, then I can't think that I'm all it is now. Whoa. I mean, phew, I feel like Tiny Tarot just delivered that. So, now that we've got the definition of the shadow down and what shadow work is, Earl, how do you feel about that? Does that make it a little bit clearer for you?
It does.
Okay.
A great deal clearer. Thank you for the explanation.
Hey, yes. Well, I'm going to say thanks to Tiny Tarot. That felt like a very channeled message in that moment. And we're going to say, okay, Tiny Tarot, hey, what have you got to say today about, you know, the necessity, what drove us to that? I don't know. Like, I'm not sure what part of our psychological development it seems to be necessary to lock that stuff away. Possibly because we fear going back to it. If there was a part of ourselves that we felt like wasn't worthy, the only way that I ever keep from doing that again is to lock it away and pretend like it never happened, you know, or just to be so down on myself about that time, I must be punished. I think that comes from, you know, a lot of the ways of how we've been raised and habits passed forward. Well, we talk about that a lot. Those generational habits that are passed forward. So, Earl, I have divided that was a long lead in, but this is an important one, I feel like. I have 3 stacks here, and I need you to please intuitively choose stack 1, 2, or 3. And today,
I like 3.
Earl says 3. We're going with 3. Shadow work and Tiny Tarot. Ooh, Page of Wands. And the Page of Wands, okay, the wands represent what we do. And the page, he's starting out. Like, this is before the night. The page usually brings a message of work. And wow, that's what we've asked for just now. We're like, can you tell us like what it is that we need to do? And the cool thing about the page is that he's completely open and he's excited for what he's doing next. So this tells me it's like Tiny Tarot's going, yay. Do you understand that this is like one of those, I don't know, seems like work, but it's the work that you get to when you're I don't want to say almost there. Let's say that there's something that you've always wanted to do. Like you really wanted to learn to paint watercolor, and you get an opportunity to apprentice with a really accomplished watercolor master. You would be like, oh, okay, even though I don't know that much about what to do next, I am so excited. Like, just show me what to do. Just show me what to do. And this is the kind of attitude that we want to come to this kind of thing with. Don't come to, oh, yes, okay, I understand it. Don't come to shadow work with, well, it's time to do the shadow work, where I dig deeply into myself and I'm sad. And that's not what we're coming at it with. It's like, woo, okay, I'm at shadow work. You know what this means? This means that I am really leveling up. This is some level up stuff. And when we were talking about, I want to remove my blockages, these were the blockages, okay? Getting the shadow work done means that those things have been removed for you. Even the ability to be able to visualize what parts of your life, yeah, I did not like that. Oh, I remember that. No, I've shoved that away. I would never admit to somebody that I felt like that or said that or did that. When we come to the point that we can actually go, oh yeah, okay, yeah, I see those. I understand what I did. Like that's 90% of the work. Even just someone saying, here's what shadow work is. Do you kind of understand it? And you go, oh my God, yes, I do understand that. It's like you just unlock the door and they're all coming out. They're like, hey, thanks, sorry. Whew, we've been in there. It's getting smelly in there. Like we had no light for so long. And now that you understand that we're important and that we're part of you and that we all deserve, whoo, yay, party. And that's when you go, all right, I don't know what it means to do next, but I feel like here, yay. I'm so excited. I'm going to learn how to really paint with my own colors now. I'm going to really learn the things that are going to be working for me. All of that work that used to feel like you were banging your head against the wall because you would learn a tool or you would get an insight and you'd be like, oh my God, I think my life is going to change because of this one phrase that I'm remembering. And then 2 months later, you're not even using it anymore and you're back into the same habits that you were. This feels really different because there's excitement in what's coming with this. Yay, I will take that, Tiny Tarot. I am extremely excited. And the next thing that comes up is a Six of Wands. And that's, I'm going to tear up again because Tiny Tarot is just, once again, is saying, ha, you thought shadow work was going to be all about, it's a different kind of crying. This is an excited kind of crying, especially for those of us that have been working so hard on ourselves for so long. This gentleman or female is returning from battle and is successful. See the wreath? That represents a portal that's been come through. And not only is it like, yay, I'm successful returning from battle, a little nonchalant, more like, hey, yeah, I'm successful returning from battle. But everyone around them is like, yep, we know, we see it. We see your accomplishments. This is fantastic. So this is not only you having the victory, but those around you seeing your victory. And even more than that, this feels like one of those ancestral things where even though I don't completely understand necessarily how other dimensional entities directly involve themselves in our lives, I can't really wrap my brain around that because that's really hard to understand, but I do know that it's there. It's your ancestors that have a vested interest in you, great grandparents and back that contributed to you spiritually, genetically, and have a vested interest in your success. It feels like them going, oh my God, do you realize what you're clearing for this whole line? Do you realize what you're going to be putting forward just because you are unlocking these doors that have been, that have just been festering for so long? And it's not, this is the work that's been put on your shoulders for this generation, is to clear all these blockages. We've been making this hard work, like it's been physical, like we have to go in and like dig things out and remove blockages. And it's been so the opposite of that. Because we are in a physical realm, we really want to think that it has to do with doing physical things and moving things, but it's really just been kind of like turning around, or that Queen of Swords that just goes, hold up, we're going to think about things differently from now on. This doesn't have to be such a burden. These shadows don't have to be so scary. It doesn't have to be the usual thing that you lock those parts of you away and become ashamed of them and then just wither and die in bitterness and regret. That's not the way it has to be. I can embrace everything about myself, and I can come at everything with my true self, and I can celebrate the battles that I have come through, and those around me will benefit from it as well. That's another really, really big thing about shadow work and the kind of work that we do, is that it's not selfish. It may seem in those moments that we have to take that hermit time and explaining to others what you're doing is okay. Hey guys, it's not that I don't love any of you, but for the next day or so, I feel like I need to do a little internal work. So, I'm going to be meditating. I may have my phone off. It's okay to set those boundaries and do those things. Say, okay, I'm going to chill out. I'm going to do a little journaling. I'm going to take a hot salt bath. I'm going to light some candles. I'm going to relax. I'm going to meditate if I can, and just take that time to say, all right, I'm not going to envision anymore that there are blockages all around me. I'm just going to understand that I'm incorporating parts of myself, and from here on, I'm going to be moving forward as a whole and healed being, whatever that looks like. It's okay to take that time to do that. And then we move out into the rest of the world as our whole and more healed self. That benefits everyone in our lives. So taking that selfish moment to do a little introspection and self-love makes you such a better person when you come out in the rest of the world. What? Of course it does, because you're the Empress in this situation, and the Empress is the first presence of feminine energy in tarot. So it is the Earth Mother. It is the womb. It is that natural creativity that we come in with. And this is that exactly what I said, that nurturing abundance that comes with, not only am I centered and my self-care is in place and I'm feeling confident and I'm coming at the world as my whole self. Does that mean that everything is perfect 100% of the time? No, but now I know that I'm a powerful enough being to be able to face any contrast that comes my way and still turn it in my favor. That's the power of the Empress. That's that creative womb. I will take whatever is around me, and it's when it comes out, it's going to be my creation in the end. That's what the Empress says. And do you have to be a female for this to apply? Absolutely not. The male and female energy is present within all of us. And this is saying harness the creative part of that, the creative part that the universe is already running all the time. It's just you recognizing that that's there. And because those pieces are now whole, where before they were fractured, it is. It's like something that's been gestating, and it's finally really becoming what it intended to be. And the impact that you have on those around you is just ridiculous. And it's not that we're running through the streets naked going, I have been integrated. I am whole. My shadow is gone. I know the truth. We integrate that into our everyday life. And what does that mean? Hey, Low-Key Magical. What does that look like? Well, that looks like when you wake up in the morning, you don't roll over and go, another day. This is going to suck just like yesterday. No, we realize that we are giving another day as a gift. This day of me being whole and integrated and able to understand that exactly where I am is exactly enough. I am enough. I have created myself up to this point, and from this day forward, I know that I am what I choose to be. I am that I am. Like, this is such a powerful movement forward. And then you will put your foot on the floor, and maybe your kid will run in and go, Mom, the dog pooped on the floor, or whatever. Your day will come at you, but you will have started it with a whole and complete foundation. And every choice that you make moving forward is solid. Each foot that you put forward is solid and deliberate and intentional. It changes so much for you. It changes so much for you. And of course, it brings up justice. Earl, how many reads have we had justice in?
All of them.
Almost all of them. Tiny Tarot is bringing, I love that there's a consistent message in every read. Once again, how many times are you going to cry in this one? It means the energy is coming through. Justice is a balancing of those scales. And immediately, once again, I get the message. Sometimes you may not know what this next part of your life is going to look like. If healthy and whole and integrated has not been what you've experienced up to this point, it may feel a little different. I even saw a post from someone the other day that said, when you're no longer waking up with anxiety and dread, it almost feels like a friend is missing. And I thought, wow, that's a really great way to put, sometimes you may not have a map for what whole and healthy looks and feels like. But again, before you get out of bed, the moment that you wake up, and maybe even before you go to bed at night, if you're doing a little relaxation and trying to get yourself to fall asleep, I'm going to wake up in the morning whole and healthy because I'm integrated. And so I would like my first thoughts to help me fall in line with that for the rest of my day. And I know it may last 30 seconds the first day. It may last a minute. And then the next day, I'm going to try to keep it in a habit, because I know in the past that I picked up tools that I thought would help me. And I got super excited about those tools. And then when I didn't get immediate change, because we want it to be like bam, and then everything was different, I'd put those tools down because I got a little bored with it. But I'm excited this time because I realized from the messages that I'm getting from Tiny Tarot, and pretty much from the world around us. If you're not watching the doom and gloom, if you turn the other direction, you notice that there are a lot of people that are beginning to come online. They're beginning to cooperate with each other. It's much more loving. There's a lot more art and creativity being put online. You can learn how to do anything that you want to learn how to do. This is an exciting time. So I'm choosing to tune into that excitement, and I'm going to say, I'm going to be integrated. I'm going to be whole. I understand what the shadow is, and I'm putting it into the sun. The sun is now directly above me. There is no shadow anymore. I have shined a light on all of it and found it to be good. I've shined a light on all of it, and I have found it to be good. And guess what? I'm not the only one that found it to be good. It turns out it's all been good all the time, and that I am celebrated, and that I am supported in more ways than I even know. And that this next step in my life is going to be, what's that first step that you take after a huge win? It feels like, all right, what's next? What's next? What do you want to do next? Who do you want to be next? What do you want to make next? Who do you want to meet next? There are no more blockages because you've shined the light on all of them and found them to be good. Even the blockages were good. Everything that I've experienced has got me to this point right here. And what does that mean that I can create without restraint? I can create without restraint because in the shadow were those things that I found distasteful. And when I would see those same aspects in other people, I was triggered. And something about that would hinder my creative process. It wasn't that the other person was XYZ. It's that they were showing me that XYZ is in my shadow. Does that make sense? So now we're coming at it whole. We are creators that can create without restraint, with abundance, like true abundance, the universe flow abundance, not just, no, I really feel creative today. Like tapping directly, like I've been vacuuming my house the whole time without it plugged in. Oops, now I'm gonna plug it in. Wow, it works so much better. Like that's the way I'm seeing this. When you're coming at your creative process, when you're coming at your day, when you're coming at your relationships, when you're coming at your job, when you are coming at the interaction with the barista at Starbucks, when you are coming at anything, and you are your 100% full, accepted, enough, I'm having a wonderful day because I started it intentionally that way self, you get nothing but balanced experience. You get scales moving back in your favor. You get fairness, and you get just all of those. To me, justice is way more than, well, you had a legal thing come out and it came out in our favor. It's way more than that to me. This is all of those things that we have felt have been unfair about the planet and about our experience here. And it also feels like the karmic wheel of, there is the result of all of that negativity that has rolled, and those that are choosing to continue to participate in that. Those who are deepening their shadow. Those who are trying to create more shadows for others because it is easy to control them when they have a huge, heavy shadow. Justice says that's gonna play out. It's gonna play out. And it's going to play out. Like, the sassiness of Tiny Tarot is like, everybody's going to get theirs, they're going to get their, well, okay, yeah, they are. Because all of those structures that have been built on that fear that we talked about, all of the structures that have been built on shadow will no longer be able to stand because of justice, because of the work that we're doing. And again, it's not like if you don't do this work, the world will, it's not that at all. This is inevitable. Like that's what Tiny Tarot is saying. This is inevitable. It is that one that I get all the time. The horse is going to go from here to here. You can ride on that horse and enjoy that ride and feel the wind in your face, or you can be drugged behind that horse. Like, how do you want that experience to go for you? Do you want to embrace the feeling of the Empress and understand that you create your own reality one thought and one choice at a time, and that when you come to everything as your whole and healed self, that it really does, there's still contrast, there's still things that you have to face, but you don't face them in the, oh my God, I'm drowning and you're handing me another boulder. It's not like that. It's like, I've got things under control. I understand who I am. I'm at peace in my heart. So whatever everything throws at me, it's going to be okay, because it's all going to balance out in the end. But those that have been choosing to make this harder than it needs to be, those who have been benefiting from others' pain, those that have been encouraging ill health in order to profit from it, that's going to play out for them. It absolutely is. And so at the end of this read, I say, Tiny Tarot, hey, if you've got like one last piece, I love the Justice in the Tower like that. The Justice feels good. It feels so good for us. And the Tower, for those that have been, not being as cool. And that's not, again, I'm not trying to be negative with that, but you understand what I'm talking about. How often do we talk about narcissistic behavior? And all of those are people that have their own unhealed, unaddressed, deep, dark shadows. But as the wheel of karma rolls, they'll have the opportunity to work that out. And sometimes that comes with, guess what, more work. So we say it as in, they'll get theirs, but it's going to feel really good for us when we see those scales balancing. You cannot deny that. It's going to feel really good when you see those scales balancing for you personally and for those that require justice. And how many times? Again, every single read. And very last piece of advice, Tiny Tarot says King of Swords, of course. And the swords are our thoughts and our words. And the King of Swords is very discerning about what he chooses to say and how he chooses to think. And this is all about what we have come to with like the very, very first Tiny Tarot message. It's about understanding what's benefiting you up here and what is not. And what is benefiting you coming out of here and what is not. Now, the opposite of this energy is someone who's, like we said, this is so perfect. This is the narcissist card. When you get the King of Swords in reverse, this is someone who is a master at saying exactly the right. Okay, these are the people that I feel like justice is you're gonna see the Tower. And as a result of justice playing out for this exact energy right here. Someone who is incredibly controlling. I control the narrative. I control the message. And by doing that, I can control the way you think, and I am a master at it. Like a manipulative, controlling, and you don't even see it. Like that's how good they are. You're wiggling in the net before you even realize what has happened. And Tiny Tarot says collectively, as a society, we've kind of been, let's be honest, we've kind of been the victim of very narcissistic behavior when it comes to, let's just say everything. Like it was very, you think the way I want you to think. You need to buy this and everything. You need to buy this, you need to do this, you need to go here, you need to worship this, you need to say this, all of that. All right. Whoop. But this is how it came out when we asked Tiny Tarot for this last piece of advice. You are the one. You know what it is for you to think for yourself. When you have, the energy of the entire creative universe at your back. That
Go
really
ahead
does,
and think it.
Yeah, that puts you in a very different mind space. It's okay. It's okay if your truth is different from others' truths. It's okay. Your shadow was different from, no one has the same shadow. No one has the same experience. No one has what you have. It's so unique. It is so you. It is so here to be expressed. It is so valuable. Don't let anyone else control the way you think about it. Control what you say about yourself at all. This is all you. This is taking that control back. And yes, this may feel new. This may feel like a new thing, but we're not going to put this one down. Because once, like I said, that these blocks are cleared and these shadows are no longer in the shadow, when someone's like, I'm going to go do some shadow work. You go, wow, that sounds really hard. I did mine last week. It's good. Like, it really wasn't that hard. You should watch this podcast with this lady with these tarot
Excuse me while I
cards.
do some shadow work.
Excuse me while I go do some shadow work. You just want to lay in a bathtub with bubbles is what you want to do. Go ahead. Use it as an excuse to do your self-care. But really, once we give those, and we don't even have to, well, here was the time when and here was the time. You know that it's all in the dark together. And it can all be addressed. And address it more than once if it doesn't feel like it all comes out. This is how you do it. A, B, C. It's going to be perfect every time. We are learning, but we can be excited about this learning. We can be, because this is the stuff that's really going to do it. This is the moment that we've already come through so many barriers. This is the time that we get to work with masters. What else was it? At some point you have to say, I have graduated from student to master, or at least from student to student teacher. We've said that before.
Something along
that's what
those lines.
That's what the page of wands says. That is absolutely what the page of wands says. And those that have been and continue to choose to be, and it's not that there's like, oh, there's a punishment coming. Just understand this is the way that the energy is rolling out. You're either going to be on the boat or you're not. You're either going to be whole and healthy and able to really function in whatever this next step is for us, or you won't, because oh my gosh, this is a dead end. That's what the Tower says. If you're going to communicate this way, going forward in this, what we are creating here, this is an absolute dead end for you. You cannot continue to function as a bully, okay? You cannot continue to function as manipulative.
No.
Passive aggressive is now so obvious to me that I can't even, this is not this kind of behavior of trying to, I'm going to reach out and change the way you think. I'm going to change you so that I'm happy. No, those of us that understand it, we change in here to get happy, and then we move out into the world. I'm not trying to change you to make me happy. That doesn't work. That's like if I'm like frowning and then I try to reach out to the mirror and change my no, I've got to change the way I act in here, and then I move out in the world and I will see that reflected. But those that really want to burrow in, nope. The world is going to change for me. I'm gonna say the things that make you change, and I'm gonna try to get you to think the way that I think, because otherwise you are wrong. That isn't going to be a vibration that can even be sustained. That vibration can't be sustained. And I don't know if I don't think it's gonna be like as of Wednesday, that vibration won't be able to be sustained.
As of
what
Wednesday.
Tiny Tarot is saying, if you really want to, it's like the meek inheriting the earth, sort of. Those that are really going to create and have the power are the ones that have access and know they have access to this universal creative energy. And it's not the ones that act like this. It's the ones that understand what they're bringing to the table. Woo, man. Tiny Tarot brought it again today. And I'm just going to say happy with this Justice card. Because this also has some other things. Hold on a second. I'm going to get one more message from Tiny Tarot because this feels really good. Maybe some stuff that you worked on before that did not work out for you, that you had kind of abandoned and put in your shadow. Guess what? Those are going to come back around and even out. What? Okay, so let's say that you had a fun project, and we were talking about this before. It kind of goes, yay, but then it, petered out, and you were like, well, that was fun, but it feels like a failure. And you threw that behind you. That either that exact project could pop back up and suddenly become cool again, or something really amazing will come in that makes you realize that that was just a stepping stone. That was just a stepping stone. And something that I thought was done is not done at all, because the scales haven't balanced out quite yet. And you've got more experience coming, more fun stuff coming. more fun stuff coming.
More fun stuff.
More fun stuff to look forward to. Things that you had kind of forgotten about. Things that you had forgotten that you were excited about because you had put everything. All of that stuff that you put in your shadow was more than just, because you can't just put one thing in the shadow. You can't just go, well, this is who I was when I was 14 and I was overweight and had acne and I didn't like myself, so I'm going to throw that. Well, there was a whole lot of stuff that happened to you then that when you realized what you were really enjoying doing. And if you throw that entire period of your life into the shadow, you no longer have access to the things that excited you then. So now that you've shined the light on it, those things that excited you during that period of your life are now free to come back into your experience. Oh my God, that's beautiful. That's just another part of this justice. Thank you, Tiny Tarot. That made me tear up one more time. All right, so Tiny Tarot, even though this time it was, I thought, going to go deliberately dark, this wound up being wonderfully positive. This is going to be something really helpful that I am going to continue to embrace and discuss in my own as I'm going to bed at night. Hey, thank you, Shadow, for being there. I know that you served your purpose, but I'm letting everything out of there and I'm labeling it all as good and I am reclaiming everything that I needed from that. For some reason I put it away for a while, but I'm reclaiming everything that I need and I'm sending love to all of it and I am embracing it and I am the empress in this situation because I know I'm going to wake up and I'm going to create my day deliberately and I am going to be celebrated in what I've done internally, externally, this realm, another realm. Love it. Tiny Tarot, hey, you really brought it today. And I am Low Key Magical with a K. Again, I am on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, what's that other one? The Tick and the Talk. And you can message me on Facebook if you have a question, and this would be great, that you would like addressed by Tiny Tarot. Message me on Facebook. Reach out, please, to Low Key Magical with a K, and we will discuss it on our next podcast. Thank you so much for being here, Earl, the podcast master.
You're welcome. Thank you for letting me be here.
And you have a magical rest of your day.